QQQ. All right, I've got a couple callers on line 1 and 2 and 3, so I'm going to take the caller on line 1. This is Michael Regan, Medicare and You. Thank you so much for holding during the commercial break. How are you?
Michael, are you talking to me? This is Owen.
Yes, Owen. I don't say your last name for HIPAA reasons.
No, I won't.
But
Okay.
I cannot tell you. I was sitting at the office 7 o'clock about 2 weeks ago, and I read a fantastic letter to the editor in the Republican American, our great paper, and it's you. You wrote the article about the Chris Murphy bamboozling at the senior center. He gave a talk. So please, give me some background. What motivated you to write the letter?
Well, Chris comes there on a regular basis. He's invited by the Democratic Club. He only takes questions that are written out in advance, someone monitors. And then he scares the hell out of all the seniors there, telling them, you're not going to recognize Medicare. And, no plan that I know of, Paul Ryan or anybody else, is going to touch anybody who over 55. But something has to be done. The plan is just so, it's broken. And it needs to be mended, and it needs to be elongated, and so some modification has to be done. But Chris comes, and what does he offer in lieu of it? Just keep putting money into it. All right, it'll be all right, and it won't be.
No.
There's more of a threat of this collapsing on the people who are on Medicare than there is on any other plan. So it just bothers me that he cranks up their seniors like that, and it's irresponsible, and I think it bothers me. That's what motivates me.
That was such a good letter to the editor. First of all, on 40 cents on every dollar that China owns of ours, why are we trying to fix one thing that's actually working? Why does the government need to meddle more with Medicare? They invented a plan in 2003 called the Medicare Modernization Act. It was their idea. They invented the Medicare Advantage plans. So now, all of a sudden, they want to do away with that. What's the reason behind that?
The whole thing, the whole Obamacare is just incomprehensible, and even the people who passed it, self-admittedly, don't understand what's in there.
Yes,
it gives so
true.
much authority to the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kathleen Sebelius, that one page could become 500 other pages in regulation.
You know what you're talking about. That's exactly what she said.
And it's interesting that she was on the air today saying that 47 million women will now have additional rights to health benefits. I just have an issue with if a woman gets pregnant. I didn't ever consider that to be an illness, and it's being perceived now as an illness now, and they're forcing the church affiliates who self-insure to pay for women, and it's contrary to their value system.
Their religious beliefs.
Wrong.
Correct.
It's absolutely wrong.
It's not an illness. That's a gift.
No, that's what I always perceive it as through life. It's a gift from God.
Right.
And if there's an ailment that results from that, then I can understand the need. But when a woman who goes to Georgetown University law school for $50,000 or $60,000 wants me to support her birth control, Baby Rush was, inappropriate.
Rush was wrong. He was rude, and he was wrong.
He was rude. But it's true. I don't want to be giving her birth control. I mean, that's when she's paying $50,000 to go to Georgetown and become a lawyer. That's insane. We've just become such an entitlement society that you're never responsible for anything you do, and government will always help you out. Well, it can't happen. It ain't going to happen.
We need to be more held accountable for our actions. That's why I had you calling. You were spot on with your letter. You quoted the $500 billion. First of all, you don't just get that off the top of your head. You were so spot on with your facts that I had to have you on the airwaves. It was a great letter to the editor. If you don't mind, I'm going to definitely send you a little pizza coupon to my local pizzeria just to thank you for your time. I think you were definitely, you've got your head on the railroad tracks. You're listening to the right people, which is yourself and your constituents. Chris is nowhere near your age, and he should not be volunteering seniors with knowledge that you have more than him. What he should do is stick to getting Susan Bisowitz to take the damn ad down. That's wrong, and she's still running the ad. He should be working on that, not trying to fix Medicare.
I mean, Chris is a nice guy.
Great guy. I think he's a good man. I think he's intelligent.
He should be in the Senate or not.
Right, but don't just vote for something because your party told you to. Know what you're doing.
And that's the other thing that was in the article is that I saw him stand up and say, no, we don't want to go any farther with Fast and Furious. And as I said in the article, if it was his kid who was killed, if it was any way involved, he'd want to know who was responsible, and he want heads to roll. But because the party line is you don't do that, he votes with them. So I don't think I'm not endorsing anybody else on this. I'm just saying this man is not entitled to become a member of the greatest debating society in the history, because the Senate does virtually little. So I'm just fed up with them, too.
Change is coming. People will speak in November. I'll talk to you later, Owen. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike.
Good caller. Guy's informed. I love an informed citizen. Way smarter than I am, and this is my radio show. Michael Regan, Daryl, how you doing, my friend?
Good, Michael. How you doing?
Good. We have Daryl Willenbrock. That's Willenbrock. She is a regional coordinator for Choices. Choices, I think, is Connecticut Programs for Health Insurance Outreach, Information, and Eligibility Screenings, correct?
Boy, you're great.
Oh, I love you guys. You always talk highly of me. Dawn McCary and Dick were guests on my show, and we like to help people. That's the beauty why we do this. So how are you? And let's have a little Agency on Aging update. How's everything going?
Everything is going very well, but we did want to mention to people that there are letters going out from the state because they're very far behind on granting the applications for the Medicare Savings Program. And the letter starts out by saying, your application has been delayed. And when people read that, their head says that they were turned down.
Denied. It should say, stop, relax, and don't go into your insurance agent's office because you're not denied.
Right.
So
but that's what goes into their head. And so we've been getting 10,000 calls.
So have we.
What it's telling you is they're really far behind on granting the applications.
And there's actually a byline in the contract. It states that they need to have it processed within 6 weeks.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
What they're doing
I'm
is
actually on the Medicare subcommittee and with one of the attorneys who is trying to get that addressed. I'm not sure if this is one of the resolutions that the state came up with.
And what's this, with the Bureau of Assistance Program?
It. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm hoping that they will move quickly, but I know it's a matter of staffing. I know they need to add more staff. And unfortunately, that's just a fact of life. They can't do as many applications as they have coming in with the staff they have.
Right. No, it's just a matter of there's only so many hours in the day.
And the other thing you had mentioned to me is about a $10,000 asset test.
Yeah, the means test. My listeners out there are dying to get the right answer. I had it, but I foolishly lost it.
Well, to this end, it's a demonstration. Connecticut is proposing to institute an asset test on all LIA participants. A $10,000 asset test that will exclude home, property, and one motor vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. It would be when you come up for renewal as well as new applicants. Also, it's going to, they will begin counting assets of parents who have children under the age of 26.
I am loving that one. Do you know how many individual sales I'm missing out at? And the people are like, oh, I have Husky. I'm like, how the heck did you get Husky? You're a college graduate.
Right.
Oh, I don't make a dime on unemployed. I'm like, wait a minute.
So
hardworking people like producer Nick has got to get insurance. They should get insurance. I like that Husky is doing that audit, by the way.
Right. And the last thing is there could be a limit on nursing home facility benefits to 90 days per admission, subject to additional evaluation of the benefit by DSS. So that's something we'll have to look into because we don't want anybody having to leave a nursing home.
So are you saying they're literally going to kick them out onto the streets?
Well, we hope not. We hope that the reevaluation will be something realistic.
Remember, Medicare only gives you 100 days.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And there's a
And the state is, they just don't have the money to continue on this permanent residence for people forever.
Wow.
So, to be perfectly honest, my personal opinion is I agree with a look-back period. And, if you have income and if you have savings, that's supposed to be used for these things.
Right. Correct.
So
and then if you spend yourself down to indigent level, then you qualify for our Title 19.
Exactly. But, we can't be preserving homes for our children when these bills need to be paid, because as taxpayers, we can't afford to pay them.
And
so
those children shouldn't get a free ride.
Exactly. I mean, and I'm not opposed to anybody, but if it happens to you and you can't afford the long-term health insurance, then you need to look to another alternative, but it can't be the taxpayers of the state.
Right, no, because
we're
already taxed enough.
I don't object to that look back. I don't think that's a penalty. I think it's just a fact of life. We save money because we might need to use it later on.
We are going to definitely have this be a little agency on aging spot. Good, you've got some good knowledge. All right, so you people out there that are getting your letters, they just simply say, we see that you applied on April 27th. It's now June 12th. We don't have an answer, but we'll get one to you. Don't panic. Don't just run and call the agency on aging. You can also call the 800 number, which is on your letter, or you can telephone the Bureau of Assistance Program. Their phone number is 860-424-5250, just to see your caseworker, how the update is going. But remember, anyone turning 65, your first stop on the way to seniorhood should be at the Western Connecticut Area Agency on Aging, 84 Progress Lane, second floor. They're so knowledgeable. They don't sell you anything. They're helpful. As you know, listening to WATR, you've got to know them by now. They're constantly on Larry Rifkin or my show. Make that your first stop. 757-5449 is their phone number, and make an appointment with a caseworker. Daryl, I'll talk to you in 2 weeks, and we'll have another little spot.
Perfect.
Have a great afternoon. Thanks for your time.
You too, Michael.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Rocking and rolling. Producer Tom says the board's done. All right. Let me go over some of my topics, which look at you chugging your water. That's a good water company, isn't it? All right. So, it's one of our major sponsors, the Onda. And, all right. So, for you employers out there, I'm going to deviate a little bit from my Medicare segment here because you need to listen up. For you groups out there, whether you have Connecticut, Oxford, Aetna, Anthem, my good friend in Naugatuck, been friends with him for a long time, his very intelligent staff member faxed over a letter to our office. It was from carrier Anthem. Anthem is based out of North Haven, owned by WellPoint. It states in the letter, and I don't have the letter with me, but I can pull it up because I want to make sure I say this right. But it's called a summary of benefits. And the summary of benefits is going to be mandatory that you give this out to your employees by September 23rd. Okay? So the correspondence is saying that you're going to receive a summary of benefits letter. And I'm taking a proactive approach, and Kristen and Angela at the office are working diligently getting this out. In this litigious society, everyone wants to sue somebody. It's just ridiculous. There's so many lawsuits. So what you need to do is you need to be held accountable for this. You need to get your employees the summary of benefits either electronically, which is scan and email, or by hand. Producer Tom's telling me a commercial break is due. Got to plug the sponsors. We'll be back in a few minutes, and I'll keep talking. Bye-bye.